Hi, Jackie here with my layout for Hey Little Magpie using Simple Stories Sunny Days and also using the Hey Little Magpie May Embellishment Kit as well. So I've selected 3 pattern papers from the 12 by 12 sheets that I have out of the collection pack, and I trimmed them down to size in what I think I'm going to use. As you'll see in a minute how my original idea of the layout starts and then it goes completely off, and I do something completely different. Still keeping the elements in the centre of the page, but the actual layout of it goes differently. So I'm just messing around trying to think, which paper's going to use. So with my photograph, I'm just going to mat it onto some white cardstock just to give it a border. And it's a 4x4 photograph. So I'll just give it a slight border around the photograph. And then I do mat it onto that green paper underneath. Again, just leaving a small border. So originally I wanted that green paper to be a full block. But I do use that green paper, but I only use a bit of it later on in the construction of this page. So I'm going to use that. So I'm just going to map this onto here. And like I said, I'm going to be incorporating the lovely May Embellishment Kit from Hey Little Magpie. I'll leave a link in the description box below to where you can subscribe to these kits. And also a link to the Simple Stories Sunny Day collection as well. So here is where I am trying to change it all up. I'm trying to think, I'm going to use it like this. Then I don't like the bold spots at the back. Thinking I'm going to use the floral across the page. So I do cut it down. I remember back when I first started scrapbooking, I would never have cut anything and just thrown it to one side. I would have been like, it's precious paper. But now I just cut away and it'll eventually get used on another layout. So I decide that I don't want these papers. So I go through the 6x6 pad and choose a section of these papers. Now I love this stripy paper because it's similar colours to the stripes on my t-shirt. So I thought I'll have to incorporate that somehow. So I've just gone, I think it's about a 3-inch strip of this 6x8 paper. And then I'm going to add the photograph off centre, if you can see on the photograph. So I've got quite a gap on the right-hand side. So I didn't want that stripy strip to be the full length of the behind the page. So I've just cut that in half. Still trying to figure out whether I need this bright floral piece. Then I think I'm going to put another striped paper to the side, but realise I've got that off cut, so I can just slot that into the side. So I'm happy with that design. And then I still want a piece across, so I just use this blue stripe piece. Again, just cut it 2.5, I would think, inches across, and that's just going to go along there. So I'm happy with that design as it is, and I start putting it together. This layout took me a very long time to sort out. When you look at it, you think, well, how come? But it did. With changing the paper format, changing the way I lay out all the papers. You'll see me in a minute. I have to rip quite a few of them off. So I do distress all the edges of my paper, and then I go and stick this photograph down onto this red pink floral paper, forgetting about that blue stripe paper that I want strip that I wanted to go across the page, and then realise I've got to rip. I tried to think, I'll put it on behind, but I didn't want it behind, I wanted it above. So I had to rip the photograph off. Thankfully that it wasn't completely stuck down, it just ripped the paper, but with the putting that over the top, it doesn't, you can't see it anywhere. So I do stick that down, make sure I get it in as straight as possible. You know me with my wonky lines when I'm doing layouts. And then I do add that to the side. I'll just put some adhesive to the centre of the page, if you will. Leave the ends free. So I'm happy with that. And then I've got the green offcuts from the one I wanted to use, and I just placed that at the top. Oh yes, here is where I removed the photograph because I wanted to put some 3D pads behind. As I said, this layout it looks very simple, basic, but it just took me ages to do, and it was really frustrating me. So I'm just going to distress the edges of this green pattern paper, and I'm just going to tuck that behind there as an extra layer. Again, just putting glue at the bottom and position it into place. And then I decide that I want to use the cardstock to have a bit more detail to it. So on my desk, I've got the Arden Creative Studio stencil. It's my favourite one at the moment, so I decided to use that with some Quiche Flamingo Distress Oxide ink, and I didn't have a pencil mark where it is. I've just eyeballed it and added a few details of the stencil around the pattern paper, so it just peers out from behind the big block, as you can see. I think there's one place where I do cover it up completely. So I'm just going to stick this down now. So I'm happy with all the layers I've put on there. And I'm just going to get that all stuck down. Sorry for the wobble of the camera. And I think in a bit the camera does go a bit off tilt. And I don't realise until I look at it again and I think, oh, anyway, then I do make it. So I think it's here where it's going a bit off tilt. So I've got the bits and pieces pack for Simple Stories Sunny Days, and I've just gone through it and I've found these two clouds, one that says Good Vibes, which I'm going to add at the top, and I'm going to add 3D foam to the Good Vibes one, just slightly overlapping them. And then I found a few other bits and pieces. So at the bottom of the photograph, I do add two of the labels from the Sunny Days collection. Then I realise I've got labels in the embellishment kit. And as I wanted to use a lot of the embellishment kit, I do take those out and I end up using the labels in from the embellishment kit, which you'll see me do in a minute. So I'm just going to add these clouds to the top of the page, just to cover that join, and then I just overlap. I've got 3D foam on this one that says Good Vibes, and I'm just going to slightly overlap it and offset it. I've also found two little tabs that one says Smile and one says Oh Yeah. Oh, the photograph was taken a couple of weeks ago. We had the Tulip, I think it's called the Tulip Festival, over at Ashton Country World. And me and my friends Julie and Barbara went for a few hours to enjoy all the tulips. It was lovely. I've got quite a few of these photographs, as you can imagine, to scrap. So is where I've just realised that I'm going to use the cut apart labels from the embellishment kit, and I've just added them to the bottom of the screen. And then I'd found these two floral pieces from the die cut pack that I want to add to the right hand side, and also these lovely embroidered flowers in the kit. And I did first pick out the red one and white, then I realised there was a yellow one in there, so I swapped the white one for the yellow one because I'm sitting in amongst the tulips and they are red and yellow, so I thought that worked better. So again, I'm just going to add these two to the side, to these die cut pieces to the side, and I'm just going to put some 3D foam on one of them just to give it a bit more definition. And that's that. And I think I've put the Oh Yeah down to the bottom, and then I need to put the glue, the fabric. So I get my glue gun out, and I don't know how it's happened, but the nib has broken off. So I've got a fine point nib. So I started messing around trying to find me another. It's a brand new bottle of ink, of glue. So I knew there was enough glue in there. I thought, sort of messing around trying to find another fine point nib. I'll just use it like manually as you do. I don't know why, but it wouldn't work. So I had to keep on putting the top back on to get the ink to flow. The glue to flow. Anyway, did it, and then so I put the yellow one flat, and the red one I added some glue, and I also added a 3D foam pad to the left hand side of it, just so it'll raise it up just a little bit, because the photograph is raised, and it just brings it on more or less on level with the photograph. So I'm just putting a little piece of 3D pad on the side, and that's going to go down there. Like I said, I don't know how I've managed to mess my ink bottle up. My glue bottle up. Anyway, so that goes there. Then I do put that tab down that says "Oh yeah" to the left hand side. Then onto my 12 by 12 sticker sheets to find some of these word phrases. So I've put happy, happy, happy and life is good at the top. And then I do put one that says all smiles down at the bottom, as you can see, just near the labels. And then I realised I need to put my title down. So I'm going to use the title from the foam phrase sticker sheet. And I'm going to use the one that says life is good. So hence the all smiles sticker at the bottom gets removed, and the life is good title goes in its place, slightly overlapping the lower edge of the photograph and as close up to the edge of the labels. So I'll take the word strip off. Sorry, I tried to think what it was then. Take the word strip off and add that there. And then I was going to put the word strip at the bottom, but they end up putting it back at the top. So I've got the 3 word strips coming underneath the cloud. And then I go around and I found all these dots, foam dots, and I thought, that's just scatterings over my page. So I do that. I don't know where my head was when I was doing this layout, because then I realised the sequins in the pack, in the embellishment kit. So, lo and behold, I have to take all those dots off, not a problem, and then put the sequins on. So I've just got the sequins on to the right, as you can see, and I'm just going to do a small ribbon loop with this red gingham ribbon. I'm just going to put that at the top of the page. Again, using the glue when it comes out of the glue bottle. And then it was a case of removing all those foam dots and added some sequins in their place. Before I did that, I added this charm at the bottom. So I started off by adding glue to it. It wouldn't stick. So then I had to wipe the glue off and add a 3D foam pad to the back of it. And then it stuck down perfectly well. I didn't put any twine in it. I just wanted it to be just like a free-flowing flower. So here I am, just going to go around and add some dots into the areas and try my best not to squeeze the bottle so much, because I knew that it would have flown out onto the page, which I didn't want to do. And then I just removed all the foam dots, and I can use them, put them back on the sheet. I can use them for another layout. And I think this is about where I finished. Yes, I'm going to show you a few close-ups. So the foam ribbon, you can see the slightly stencil detail. Title, labels. I have added some journaling to the label since I took that photograph. So thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you like what I have created. Please like and subscribe to our channel. If you've got any comments, please leave them below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I will add all the links to the products I've used in the description box below. Thank you very much for stopping by. Bye.